Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome again in this session related to the mobile phone security in forensics. I'm Dr. Digvijay Singh Rathod, Associate Professor in the Associate Dean, School of Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics, National Forensic Sciences University, which already have the status of institutions of national importance. Now, today's our idea is to discuss about the input validations and the data sanitization. So ultimate aim to demonstrate that if you don't validate the data which will be entered by the user, and or if you don't sanitize the data which will be entered by the user, then that may carry the malicious input. Okay, and if that malicious input that could be submitted to your system, that may be result in the vulnerability. So it is very important to see that the what the user is entering, that has to be validated. Okay, and if the user is trying to enter some unvalidated data, suppose take an example like, if I have the name, then obviously the name should not, include the any numbers, should not include any special character, so that we should not allow. Now the questions comes is, why do we need to sanitize the data which will be entered by the user? So if you don't sanitize, then it may possible that the user along with his name, he can also enter some of the SQL queries or any of the OS related commands, and that OS related commands of the query may execute by your database engine, and it may possible that that may reveal some sensitive informations to the user. Okay, so let's see. We know that what is the data validations. I would say that the data validations is a frequently used techniques for checking the potentially dangerous inputs in order to ensure that the inputs are safe processing within the code or when communicating with the other components. So that is what the ultimate use of the data validations. It means that the system will take only those data which will be validated by the functions which was wrought by the developer. It won't allow any SQL queries. It won't allow any of the OS related commands as a part of the text box. Take an example. Second thing is, when the software does not validate the input properly, an attacker is able to craft the input in a form that is not expected by the rest of the application, in the sense that if you have the text box like a name or let it be a surname, we know that the name and surname should not carry any special character. But if you don't validate, then what will happen? Then instead of the name, the person can write the select query. It could be a delete, update, insert query. And instead of that also, the person can write some of the Unix related command, the Linux related commands. Okay, when those query or the commands that will be submit to the engine through the applications, the what the database engine will do, it will execute those commands. Either the database engine will execute, or maybe your application, it means the web server in which your application has installed, that may also execute those commands. And remember one thing, the web server, that is basically it is installed inside your OS only. So whenever the web server will execute those OS related command, it may also reveal some of the confidential informations which was stored inside your desktop machine also. So that's why the input validation is very important. The third point is, this will lead to the part of the system receiving the unintended input, which may result in the altered control flow, the arbitrary control of resources, or the arbitrary code execution. That I already given the example, like the arbitrary code execution means the user, they may write any kind of JavaScript code. It could be any Python related code inside the text box, and that code may be saved inside your database also. The user can the hackers can write even the OS related commands, so that may result in the arbitrary code executions also. Okay, the arbitrary control of resources, that could be possible because if you just search on the Google that what is the command execution, that is also the one kind of injection only. The LTAP injection, this is also the one kind of injection only. So using the OS command injections, the hackers, they are trying to insert all those OS related commands, and those commands may suppose execute inside your OS through your web server. Then they may uh, reveal the information related to the resources of your OS also. So let's talk. Let's see. We'll move into the into our next challenge that we have inside our I would say in the DIVA. So let we'll back to the DIVA. So we are there in we are already inside the DIVA only. So let's check that what is the next challenge is. The challenge is related to the access control issue. Okay, I think it is part of part one or part two. I don't know. I have to check. Oh, sorry. It is an input validation issues. Let me check the part one. Okay, so let's see. So here we have the challenge. The challenge is the objective. Try to access all the user data without knowing any username. Okay, and there are three users by default, and your task is to output the data of all the three users with the single malicious search. So what they are trying to tell us that they are trying to tell us that you don't know that how many users them are there. Our job is to write a single code, and through that single code we need to get all those three users data. Hint is improper or input validations issues arises when the input is not filtered or validated before using it. When develop when developing the components that take the input from the outside, always validate it. And for each of this testing, there are three users already present in the database. For example, one of them is an admin. You can try searching for an admin to test the output. So they are trying to discuss that in the database there would be the record related to the three users, out of which one is admin. And our job is to find that, find the name of that the detail related to those three users by writing a this single code. So we know that how the SQL injections works. Now if we'll take the example, suppose if we take an example, we'd say that I'll just give you the simplest example. Like, if somebody says that whenever you wants to retrieve a detail of a specific user from the database, so what we normally write, select star from employee where user ID equal to 1. This is what the way we normally write our code. Okay, now I'm going to write this one. Okay, this is what the way we normally write our code. So it means that we are trying to display the detail of the employee. It could be ID, name, anything from the employee table, where the user ID equal to 1. Okay, now the questions comes is, if somebody will suppose entered, take an example like XYZ single quotation or the one single quotation equal to single quotation 1. Okay, if somebody is trying to enter such data, then what will happen is, this is what the input to your, I would say, for the user ID. So this is the situations that you are going to take the user ID from the user, and on the basis of that user ID you are trying to display the list, the details related to the employee. Now, so this is what we are entering in the user ID text box. So suppose whenever you entered such values in the text box, what it will be, that values will be replaced by this number. Okay, so what I did is I did only one thing, that instead of the one I am entering this I would say the simplest logical code. So obviously this will be replaced with, instead of the one, this will be get installed. Okay, now what will happen is, now what we are trying to do is, I think if you check normally the query will store like this only. So I did the mistake, it should be single quotations. Okay, so instead of the one, I'm going to write this value which I have entered into the ID text box. So I just put this one is, so now what will happen is, your code is going to be like select star from employees where the user ID equal to XYZ, So I would say that is false. Okay, or, so I'm going to write or 1 equal to 1. Now this is the universally true. 1 is is always equal to 1. So we'll have true. Now the false or true, obviously true. Okay, so now our query is going to be a select star from employee where user ID equal to, or user ID, or I'd say the employees where, sorry, where this the where clause is going to be true only. Okay, and what this will do, where something is true, this query returns what? This query will returns the detail of all the employees. So I would say that this is nothing but this is ultimately I would say the injection only. Okay, and this injections, the value which we have injected, that will be the part of your SQL query. Okay, this is what you can see. That will be the part of your SQL query. So the entire concept is called the SQL injection. So that is what we are trying to do here in our case. So let's go back here, and what I'm going to write, I'm going to write DIVA single quotation, okay, or we are trying to create the universal condition equal to 1. Now where to put a single quotation is very important whenever you do SQL injection. So this is what we wrote. Let me click on the search. When you click on the search, you can find that you can get the information of all the users, even though without knowing the details about the username. So when you click on it, you will find that the user is admin and the password is the password 123. Okay, and I can get the three user informations. One is admin, Diva, and John. Now we'll check, suppose if we move into the, I would say, in the Syntoku, and we'll try to see that what has happened on the code side. Then let's try, just a minute. Okay, and we are already inside the shell of the Genymotion Android emulator. I just need to move from this shell. So I'm just trying to exit. So now I'm back to the shell of my Shintoku. Clear and ls cd download cd-tiva, and when you do ls, I can write because we would like to access the source code of the Diva. Then I would write cd-gy and classes dash, I would say, tax dot jar, and if I'll enter, the jar file is now it is open. Now let me check that input validation from here only. Okay, so let me open that file first. So let me check that. I think it is related to the SQL injection activity. So we have the SQL injection activity here, and let me check that what he has done is, okay, he has created the SQLite database MDB. Okay, he has created the SQL object of open or create the database. Then he has executed some of the queries. Okay, then try and catch. Then let me move ahead. Okay, where he has executed the query, that we have to check. Okay, here he has executed the query. So here he has created the object of a cursor, that is for the local cursor, and here the object of your db.row query. So this is what he's preparing the query, that is a select star from something something. Okay, select star from SQLi user where the user equal to, and he's concatenating the values which the user have entered into the local edit text box. Okay, I think here this is what the local edit text box. So what we are going to do is we are going to take this whole code. We'll open one Word file. So this is the word file that we have. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll do the same thing here only. Oh, that I'm not able to edit. Okay, just a minute. Let me open the, just a minute. So let me do one thing, create new empty file test. Okay, and let me try to paste it here. Oh, I'm not able to, because I think JDGI is, it won't allow me to copy it possibly. Okay, copy, paste. Okay, so this is what the way the SQL query is got executed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, instead of this text box value which we have, which we have entered into the through the activity. So what we have entered, we just have entered this part, that is the DIVA single quotations, or the single quotations 1 single quotation complete equal to single quotation 1. So that values, the whatever you have entered in inside the text box, edit text box, that will be placed here. So it is, I'll say this looks like DIVA single quotation or single quotation. Okay, 1 equal to single quotation 1. Okay, so this is what, this will become your query. Okay, and this will become your query. This will be replaced with this one. So this will become your query. So what the query is going to be, okay, is going to be a single quotations DIVA. Okay, or let me remove this one. This will not be available. Okay, this is looks like this one only. So this is what you are, select star from SQLi users where the user equal to the DIVA. This will be obviously a false, but the 1 equal to 1 is going to be true. So where true, and what your finally what your query is, your query is going to be a select star from SQLi user, okay, where true, and this will return the values from the SQLi user, and they will put it in front of you. This is what the ultimate result, because if you don't, that is only because of you are not sanitizing the data, or you are not writing the good validation functions be before processing the user input. So if you click on it, you will get all the details. So that is what the ultimate aim to demonstrate this part. Okay, and I think in the next sessions we'll discuss some other concept also. Thank you.